You'll never have a client who will complain that they're making more sales and their sales are growing and they're profitable.
Right.
Even if you're not focusing on 90% of their products, as long as those two metrics are met, you're not going to have clients who complain. All right, Ray, what do we have today?
Right now, the main thing I'm looking at is their very thin profit margins. We actually had to do a lot of price increases because they were in the negatives for a lot of margins. They are an authorized reseller. This is the sheet for their all 54 ASINs, and to be honest, all the margins are pretty bad. They're between, now these ones we didn't even change the selling price. They're between 8% and 10% profit margins. And then the certain ones where I had to do a price increase for, they were originally, let's say like 2%. So those were the really desperate ones that we had to increase to the new price to give them at least 10%, which is still not great, but I didn't want to increase the whole catalog because it would really drive conversions down and sales would decrease. And as you can see here, -1, -1, 2%. These are before the increase. So we did increases for quite a few of them that really, really needed it. However, for the rest, still very low. Now, you probably know the competitor, Whitehall, has like thousands of reviews, really good star rating, and we're trying to compete with them, but our listings are very, compared to theirs, ours are definitely not as much social proof. And yeah, just wondering like how you would approach the situation. Right now, what I'm recommending is we did slight price increases to make sure we have at least 10%. I'm just saying that we should just keep going for sales volume to get more reviews to increase our conversion rates, which range between 2 to 5% on average for the whole catalog. What do you think here?
Okay, so let's start with what are the primary ways that we can assist and optimize for people who are resellers?
Well, we are already doing some image stacks. We're doing some A+ content. We're redoing their SEOs and TBDs from scratch. So those are all micro improvements. Now, the difference between these guys and normal resellers is that they're on their own listing. They're not competing for a buy box on the original listing. So I'm kind of treating it as like kind of private label, but not really, because they still want to use the brand name, but they're on their own listing. So for me, I think like just increasing conversion rate probably most important right now. But at the same time, like if we go for sales volume and get more reviews and keep these prices, like we're going to have kind of maintain our conversion rate, but they're not going to be profiting too much or at all.
What did they rate on a scale from 1 to 10 for their profitability versus sales growth?
When I onboarded them, I asked them this question and they kept saying both. I asked, would 5 out of 10 be accurate? And they just said yes. So it's kind of 5.
Majority of clients are always going to be between a 4 and a 6, to be frank, but it's good because it gives you an idea of like what you have to focus on, right? When you're looking at an account like this, anytime somebody is a reseller of a brand or a wholesaler in this perspective, and they have ownership over listings, the big aspect that you have to take into consideration is going to be, you're going to have some heroes, but your big play is going to be volume overall. So they are going to focus very heavily all the time on the aspect of what products are selling well, and then have everything piggyback off of those products.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I would basically look at from this perspective is products that already have a decent conversion rate, decent profit margin as a whole, and we could optimize immediately for sale. What are those?
Well,
Prior to price changes, I should say.
Prior to price changes, from this sheet, it would just be, well, there's a few I can pick out that have 17% profit margins. To be honest, none of them have good conversion rate. The highest conversion rate I've seen for his products are 6%. That's the highest one that I've seen in the whole catalog.
Yeah, you're going to have that fairly often with people who have giant catalogs because they've never taken the time to focus on any one product, right? That's kind of why I say the best way that you can usually assist clients like this who have giant catalogs is to figure out what the 5 to 10% of their catalog is that you can optimize and really hone in on to improve that conversion rate and the overall rate. So my favorite example of this, years back, I worked with a client of mine, and at the time they had a catalog of 730,000 ASINs.
Wow.
Yeah. The way that we optimized, because you can't optimize 730,000 products, right? It's just, it literally is impossible. There's no software that can do it anything.
Yeah.
what we ended up doing to essentially raise their overall sales volume by 500% over 16 months was we focused in and found 50 products in their catalog. And those 50 products are the only ones we put time and effort into pretty much 90% of the time. Those are the ones that ended up boosting their sales from 5 million a year all the way up to 25 million a year. And it's because those essentially also guided people into clicking and seeing what else they sell. And it boosted the catalog as a whole, because now we also had hero products that we could attach lower volume SKUs to that acted as essentially a cross-sell opportunity. So for a catalog like this, what I would really focus on for them is figuring out what products have their best margins that you can actually invest money into, which ones have the highest conversion rate currently, and which have the most opportunity. That opportunity is the really big part. That's going to take some looking at essentially the category and looking at overall what kind of products are in the category and where the current ranking is. Because I know from when I looked at their products, all of their products were really, really low ranking in general. But that's kind of the area where look at it from starting from scratch as well. Don't be afraid to also potentially mention that to the client if you think there's a product that could have legs if you did a relaunch on it, especially for a client like this where they're just, essentially wholesaling products. If you wanted to, you think there's going to be 5 products that could do really well, but their ranking is just super, super low, ask the client, hey, would you be open to us doing a relaunch on this product under a new ASIN? Point of that is essentially you get fresh groundwork to work with and can utilize a lot of our launch strategy sales volume alongside of that.
Basically find like 20% of the catalog that makes 80% of the sales or something like that. So find those handful, good margins, highest conversion rate, focus on them. And would you say that we should like sort of put all of our design resources to those ones as well and do the image A plus?
Yeah, at least for the short term, right? Especially if you choose any of those and you're going to do like a relaunch on anything, like that's where you're going to need to put that design time and effort into. And the purpose of that is always remember this, you'll never have a client who will complain that they're making more sales and their sales are growing and they're profitable. Even if you're not focusing on 90% of their products, as long as those two metrics are met, you're not going to have clients who complain at the end of the day. So that's where things like 80/20 will come into place, especially with a client like this, where it's not even their own brand at the end of the day. That's what they really care about is those two things. So focus on those. And if you have to, do a relaunch.
Okay. Because I think, I think maybe I should have identified these products in the beginning because right now we're in like month 2 of their contract. And for month 1, they really insisted on, instead of doing like full image stacks, they insisted to do 3 images across 4 ASINs to get their 12 images in for the first month, which was their scope. So I was like, if we do 3 images across 4 ASINs, we're going to have very little like conversion rate boost for each of them. And we're not going to see much of a difference. And so right now, we're like 2 months in. I kind of have to try to convince them to do image stacks for the ones that are important. And then for 8+, like the thing with that is a lot of them, like some of their existing listings have 3 modules for the 8+, and they're very minimal, could use a lot of improvement, but they don't want to do 8+ for the ones that already have an 8+. They want to do 8+ for the ones that don't have anything, which the listings that I don't think have much potential. I'm trying to convince them to do to redo the 8+ for the important ones, but they are a stubborn bunch. So
that I can definitely see. The best way to go about this, it's not always fun about brand management, is that you can bring data to the table. You can bring your strategy and your idea and why you want to do things, why you think it's a good idea to do it this way, why these products are good to focus on, right? You can have all of this laid out in front of a client and they can still just tell you, nah, I don't want to do that. I want to do this instead, right? Be frustrated. The best advice I can give you in this is still do that. Still give them all the data, tell them why, show them why. So for instance, if you think that there is really good potential on a product, there's minimal competition, potential for a product has good conversion, has good profit margins, things like that, they have ability to consistently fulfill that product, still present it. At the end of the day, if client doesn't want to do it, client doesn't want to do it, right? And we can't get around that, but always put that best foot forward. The rules at the end of the day, ask client what they want, give it to them, then ask them Did you get what you wanted? Some
So-
cases, they're going to say no, even if you did give them what they wanted.
When they first onboarded week 1, I gave them month 1, 2, and 3, which ASINs I think we should do image stack and which ASINs to do design. So I had it all planned out, and I was asking for approval, and they just said no to all of them. Basically a lot of back and forth. And then I was stuck between should I just give them what they want, which is 3 images per 4 ASINs, or should I just say, no, I'm going to do the best that I think is good for your account for the sake of having better results later so that they don't come back to me and complain. I did ask Katerina and Ben at the time. It was kind of mixed feedback on when should we say yes to the client and at what point should we just say, no, we're going ahead with this? What would you say about that? Do we kind of just push on our strategy until they're giving a complete no and they're kind of angry, or
don't put it until they're kind of angry, right? Okay. But yeah, always try and essentially vouch for your strategy, I guess, as much of a way as you possibly can. Make sure that clients are aware of why it is you're suggesting this. Make sure they're aware of you're trying to meet their goals, and always circle it back to that. Anytime you're doing anything strategy-wise and clients are kind of pushing back or wanting to do something strategy-wise, always relay it back as to reaching whatever their goal is. So if their goal is increasing their sales velocity across the board, say, hey, I want to do this. These are the reasons that we are looking to do this. This is the strategy that I think has the highest chance of success, and it's going to help us reach X goal that you want to do. So whatever that is from a sales volume perspective, profitability, whatever that might be. If a client truly just wants to do whatever they want to do, the ones paying us, they get to decide that at the end of the day, right? And it's that exact thing. It's, ask client, what do you want? Give them the options, right? And if they say no to those options, give them what they want, which is do X, Y, and Z. Then ask them, hey, we did X, Y, and Z. How is that? You're going to have the clients every so often that are not doing what is in the best idea for them, but you can't really do anything against it, unfortunately.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's still their final say.
It is. Always try and advocate for what you think is the best strategy, right? But you will, of course, always have clients who want to have the final say in things, and yeah, it is what it is.
I'll try my best for this account.